American Imperialism by Greer, Celine, Caleb, and Stephen. A New Tech production. The American imperialism era was good for America, but not so good on some of the influenced countries. Some of the countries that were involved were Panama, Cuba, China, Hawaii, and the Philippines. American imperialism is a way for a country to extend its power and influence them through the military, diplomacy, or economic measures. We had a few reasons that we wanted to expand the U.S., but it was all for greed. At the rate we were going, our resources were going to run low soon, so we started by trying to expand our home. We got a lot more resources from Hawaii. Hawaii had rich forests and fertile soil, good to make more money with. So we built plantations in Hawaii to speed up the process so we could sell them sooner. Then we went to China to get more population, and as a result of this, we started the Boxer Rebellion. To make us even more larger, we traveled to Cuba, the Philippines, and Panama. The actions we took were not very nice towards these countries. The effect it had were not positive in most of these countries and hurt them in many ways. We oppressed the Philippine and Cuban people because we helped free them from the Spanish. Then, while we were in China, we forced them into our American culture. We next caused a revolution in Colombia, thus creating the country Panama. Hawaii was a very peaceful island and friends with everyone. That is, until us Americans showed up and took over. We made more plantations there and ran them and had the native people work for us. We also took advantage of Hawaii's location. So when we were traveling to China, we anchored our ships in Hawaii to refill our food and other supplies that needed to be replenished. How we took over was completely unfair. We only annexed Hawaii to save money for buying supplies from them and to gain more land. The generals we sent over there to get the queen to sign the papers were under orders to do what they had to get her to sign them. So they put her under house arrest for a while. They then found out some of her people were against her choice and got those natives to side with them.
The natives there worked on the plantation and some owned them. They had sugarcane, pineapple, and coffee plantations. The main ones were the sugarcane. Then we came along and took over everything. The people who owned farms also had people work for them. To save more money, we also took charge of the farming too. We had a huge effect on their culture and changed for most people. Some became Christians while others stayed with their original culture, but there weren't many. The way it was good for Panama is because it wasn't a country at first. Panama used to be a part of Colombia in South America. Then the Spanish started a revolt towards Colombia with the people who wanted to make a new country that eventually became Panama. The Spanish didn't finish what they started, so we stepped in and finished what they left, thus creating Panama, and then the Panama Canal was made. When we went to China, we started an actual rebellion. We later called this the Boxer Rebellion. This time it wasn't good on our behalf, but theirs. We fought them and tried to take them over and started a war. We lost many men during the battle and they won. Americans weren't allowed there for a while, but they eventually let us back in if we didn't protest. If we did protest, we would be kicked out of China and sent back home. It was good for them because no more foreigners went there anymore. In Cuba, the Spanish were causing problems. They were oppressing the Cubans and the guerrillas fought back, but they still didn't stop. So we went over there and freed them from the Spanish because they needed our help. Americans kicked the Spanish out of Cuba and the Cubans were happy, but then they realized we weren't leaving. Later, we took over Cuba as well.